The man who wakes with a weapon in his mind never sleeps in peace. He sharpens his thoughts before his blade, and tempers his spirit before touching steel. While others chase fleeting pleasures, he trains. While others collapse under comfort, he endures the pain of preparation, not for one battle, not for glory, but for the 10,000 that life will hurl at him without warning. You do not rise once and remain strong. You rise again and again, from betrayal, from failure, from the storms no one else sees but you. A man who is not prepared is already defeated. You cannot summon strength when the winds howl if you have not built the fire in silence. In the stillness before the war drums, in the dead hours when no one watches. There, the warrior is made. The world tests you not in singular grand moments, but in daily attrition. Every small surrender builds your ruin. Every excuse lays a brick in the walls of your own prison. Every comfort you cling to corrodes the edge of your blade. If you wait for the right moment to train, it will pass you. If you prepare only for what you expect, you will die to what you never imagined. You must prepare for 10,000 battles, not one. The battle of loss, the battle of ego, the battle of patience, the battle of uncertainty, the battle of fatigue, the battle of isolation, the battle of betrayal, and worst of all, the battle within. Because the man who has conquered himself fears no other. They will mock your discipline. Call it obsession, call it unnecessary. But remember, those who mock the armor are never the ones who stand when the arrows fly. Those who live in distraction will not survive collision. Let them talk, let them sleep, let them soften. You are not here to be understood. You are here to become unshakable. Sharpen your body until it moves without hesitation. Sharpen your mind until it cuts through illusion. Sharpen your purpose until it blinds doubt. This is not preparation for a single enemy. This is readiness for life itself. Train until the fight is beneath you, until the crisis feels familiar, until chaos enters your space and cannot shake your breath. That is true strength, not loud, not theatrical, but deeply earned, quiet, stoic, resolute. If the path is hard, walk it. If the burden is heavy, carry it. If the world does not believe in you, detach from the need to be seen. You were not born to be accepted. You were born to overcome. Do not cry for peace if you have not prepared for war. Peace is a gift reserved for those willing to bleed for it. You think peace is the absence of conflict? Number peace is the presence of mastery over your thoughts, over your reactions, over your fears. And mastery is not found in still waters. It is carved through storms. You must become the kind of man whose foundation is forged in resistance. Not the storm you survive, but the shape you become afterward. Every trial is a chisel, every hardship a hammer. They do not break you, they sculpt you, but only if you remain standing. Only if you endure the process without begging for ease. No one is coming to rescue you, and that is your advantage. When you accept that truth, you awaken. You stop wasting strength, hoping the world will be softer. You start becoming harder than the world. They called Musashi a demon, not because he killed men, but because he conquered the battlefield of self. He slept on the ground, ate simply, fought with clarity, never clung to wealth, never feared death. That is power. You prepare not to impress, not to be praised, but because weakness is a liability, comfort is a slow death, and dependency is a prison. You prepare because life is indifferent, because storms do not knock, because betrayal often wears a familiar face, because in the end, the only man who walks with you through the fire is you. Do not envy the loud men, the ones who show strength but cannot suffer. Their empire is made of dust. You must build from stone, from daily discipline, from silent repetitions, from decisions no one applauds. Let each sunrise be a signal. Let each set of pain be an oath. Let each moment of solitude be your forge. The 10,000 battles are not out there, they live inside you. So sharpen, train, walk with burden, detach from applause, prepare in silence. And when life tests you, and it will, you will not beg for mercy. You will not crumble. You will not run. You will rise. Every man claims to want strength. Few are willing to carry what strength demands. Strength is not found in the gym. It is not built with mirrors or praise. It is found in the quiet hours when no one is watching. When you show up for the work anyway. When you endure the repetition without reward. When you do not flinch under pressure. Not because it's easy, but because you have become immovable. There will be days when your mind screams to quit. When your body begs for comfort. When every excuse rises like smoke to cloud your clarity. And that is the battlefield, not out there, in here. Discipline is not glamorous. It is brutal. It is monotonous. It is cold showers and early mornings. It is putting the phone down and picking up your purpose. It is facing what you fear instead of avoiding it. It is saying no when every part of you wants to say just this once. And that's where most men fall. Not in combat, but in compromise. They fold in comfort. They vanish in convenience. They tell themselves they'll begin tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes never. They choose to live soft, to think soft, to rot while pretending they're waiting for the right moment. But warriors don't wait for right moments. They create them. When Musashi said, "Respect Buddha and the gods without counting on their help," he didn't mean be faithless. He meant, stop waiting for something to save you. Stop hoping the universe will hand you what you haven't earned. Forge your own path. Earn your own peace. You do not train for the easy days. You train for the days when nothing makes sense, when everyone walks away, when failure smirks in your face, and still, you rise. You train for the 10,000 unseen battles, the ones no one will ever praise you for, because those are the ones that count. There are two paths, the one of comfort and the one of conquest. Comfort blinds you. Conquest burns you into form. The man of comfort seeks peace by avoiding conflict, but he becomes a slave to it. The warrior enters conflict willingly, knowing it is the forge of clarity. The world whispers lies to break you gently. Take it easy. You've earned a break. Just this once. But Musashi's words cut through fog. Do nothing which is of no use. That is not a metaphor. That is a weapon. A mind trained in discipline becomes a blade, and a blade is not dulled by mercy. It is kept sharp by refusal, by resolve, by restraint. You must become dangerous, not outwardly, but inwardly. The kind of man who can destroy, but chooses not to. The kind of man who has faced his own chaos and stands above it. There will come a day when the world collapses under its own illusions. When men who chose comfort will look around and see only ruin. Their strength will be borrowed, their pride empty. They will beg for mercy from a life they never trained for. But you will be ready, because you trained for this. You trained in silence. You trained in solitude. You trained when the applause was absent and the weight was real. You trained when it hurt and stayed until it healed. 10,000 battles, 10,000 trials, and each one a sharpening. Not so you could boast, not so you could be seen, but so you could stand even when the world falls. A warrior's peace is not found in stillness. It is found in readiness. You do not seek a life without struggle. You seek a soul that cannot be shaken by it. Your aim is not safety. Your aim is strength so absolute that no storm moves you. There will be times when the darkness comes close, when even your breath feels like betrayal, when your mind whispers, "This is too much." But the man who has prepared for 10,000 battles does not flinch. He has already faced death in his thoughts. He has already buried comfort beneath his discipline. He has already learned pain is not the enemy. Hesitation is. Weak men wait for the perfect moment. The trained man acts regardless of conditions. You train not because life is fair. You train because it isn't. You prepare not for the day the world loves you. You prepare for the day it turns on you. If you want to hold power in this life, you must first master the power to walk alone. The power to carry weight in silence. The power to rebuild yourself every single day as if no one will ever do it for you. Because they won't. Most men break because they were never broken on purpose. They never tested the edge of themselves. They never met their own shadow and chose to keep walking. But you walk it anyway. Because you know, there is no path to greatness that does not go through suffering. No calm that is not earned in fire. No truth that survives without being cut from lies. You don't want easy. You want earned. That's why you train. That's why you rise again. That's why you are not like most men. Because you've prepared for 10,000 battles. Strength without principle is just violence. And discipline without direction is just punishment. You must not only be sharp, you must be aimed. The sword is not feared because it is made of steel. It is feared because it belongs to a man who knows exactly when to strike and when not to. You are not here to become a beast. You are here to become precise, deadly, not reckless, calm, not cold, focused, not frenzied. You must know the war outside you, but first, you must conquer the battlefield within. Every thought is a soldier. Every doubt is an intruder. Every habit, an ally or an enemy. You must inspect them all, ruthlessly, daily. Ask yourself, who commands your mind? Who directs your impulses? Who holds the reins when fatigue, fear, lust, or anger rise? If the answer is not you, then you are still unprepared. You cannot fight 10,000 battles if you're at war with yourself. You cannot command others if you do not command your emotions. And you cannot win if you do not first learn to lose. With grace, without quitting, without breaking your code. Most men are ruled by invisible masters, by distraction, by desire, by doubt. But you see them. You strip them down, you face them, and you refuse to kneel. Because this is what separates the warrior from the wanderer. The wanderer seeks comfort. The warrior seeks clarity. So stand where others would stumble. Hold silence where others would speak. Move with intention where others act out of fear. 10,000 battles will not break you because the first war you won was against yourself. Do not train for the next fight. Train for the next 1,000. Your movements must not be learned. They must be remembered, carved into muscle, burned into bone. Until even in chaos, you strike with clarity. The warrior is not caught off guard because he never leaves guard. Not in peace, not in love, not in rest. Every breath, a rehearsal. Every moment, preparation. You will not have time to prepare when the world tests you. You will only have what you have become. The coward prepares excuses. The average man prepares when it's urgent. The warrior prepares before the storm, and so he does not fear it. You must welcome the unseen battles, the betrayal you didn't expect, the injury you didn't predict, the loneliness that creeps in while others sleep. These are not curses, they are sharpening stones. The day will come when your back is against the wall, not in theory, not in thought, but in blood and time. You will face a force greater than you. And in that moment, your body will do what your discipline trained it to do. That is why we drill. That is why we fast. That is why we isolate. Why we breathe through pain. Why we go without. Why we march when no one watches. The world does not slow down for the unprepared. It crushes them. But you have chosen the long road, the lonely path, the path without applause. Because you understand this. When 10,000 battles come, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training. So make sure that level is unbreakable. Your enemies will not warn you. Your failures will not pity you. Life will test you when your blade is dull and your will is uncertain, unless you forge both in advance. A warrior without preparation is a weapon without edge. A man of potential, but no execution. He dies not from battle, but from delay. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for the world to calm down. Do not wait until you feel ready. The 10,000 battles are already on their way. Prepare while others distract themselves. Prepare while others seek comfort. Prepare in silence so that when the time comes, your actions make the noise. Your future self is watching. He's hoping you don't betray him, that you will bleed now, so he won't have to later. Because the man who prepares for one battle is shaken when the second arrives. But the man who prepares for 10,000 meets chaos with composure. He does not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" He says, "I knew this day would come." And he smiles, not because it's easy, but because he's ready. No man escapes pain, but the warrior walks into it, deliberately, methodically, like one stepping into fire to forge steel. Because he understands, avoidance is surrender in disguise, and repetition of surrender carves weakness into the soul. You are not here to escape. You are here to endure, to refine your form under pressure, to die to your former self again and again, until nothing within you remains untested. When others seek shelter, you sharpen your edge. While they wait for ideal conditions, you train beneath broken skies. And as they hesitate, you strike. Understand this: the universe is indifferent. It grants no ease, no mercy, no explanation. Yet it respects those who step forward despite it. Those who shape their will like iron, unmoved by the howling of fortune. The one who triumphs is not always the strongest, but always the one who continues, who finds stillness in chaos, who embraces fatigue and walks further. Your daily choices forge your unseen armor. Every cold morning you rise with clarity. Every repetition performed when no one watches. Every indulgence you deny. These are the invisible victories that determine the visible ones. Do not ask for less resistance. Build yourself to meet it. Prepare not for comfort, but for storms, for betrayal, for fire and flood. So when they come, they find you not surprised, but ready, already forged, already shaped, already silent. Because preparation is not an event, it is a lifestyle, a creed, a vow whispered under breath. Let the world come. I have trained for this, and when the test arrives, not if, but when, you will not break. Because you've already suffered voluntarily. You've already faced shadows alone. You've already died 1,000 small deaths for one worthy cause, becoming the man who cannot be moved. The battle is never just out there. It is not the enemy's blade, the harsh terrain, the long night. The truest battle, the one that breaks or builds, is fought within, every day, in silence, with no audience and no mercy. The enemy is your comfort, your doubt, your need for applause, your hunger for shortcuts. Victory is not one grand moment. It is a pattern of choices repeated without fail. When you want to quit and don't. When you're tired, but continue. when you have every excuse and use none. This is what separates men from warriors. Most want the crown, but reject the cross. They crave the glory, but shun the grind. They want to be unbreakable, without ever breaking. But you walk toward hardship like it's home. You nod at the pain, you let it carve away all that is false, till what remains is pure, unshakable, sacred. So now you understand. You are not preparing for one battle. You are preparing for 10,000, not for applause, not for recognition, but because it is who you are, because the path itself is the reward. Let them watch, let them wait, let them fade. You are not like them. You are the blade that sharpens itself, the fire that feeds on pressure, the storm that does not sway. You are the man who was broken and reforged by choice. Prepare every day, every breath. Prepare until preparation becomes your nature, until pain feels like progress, until fear becomes irrelevant, until death itself bows to your resolve. Stand alone, stand ready, prepare for 10,000 battles, and when the time comes, strike without hesitation.